Assalamu alaikum, dear students of BS English Linguistics, Semester 1, Morning and Evening Section B. Dr. Sumaira Kamal is here to teach you the course of English 1, that is reading and writing skills. As you all know that we have already been taking sessions. We have held sessions for this course before also, and we had covered a few topics before. Now this is our online session, and I would like you to recall whatever we have discussed earlier. For that, I have shown you the course outline. You can see on the screen. The course outline says that the contents are majorly about reading skills and writing skills. I have covered one of the topics from writing skills, that is parts of speech. For our topic to discuss today is bullet number 2 from writing skills, that is phrase, clause, and sentence structure. Before we move on with the concepts of phrase, clause, and sentence structure, it is important to discuss what do we mean by a sentence and what are the parts of a sentence, so that we may be able to understand the structure of the sentence. First of all, what is a sentence? A sentence is a group of words. Essentially, a sentence is actually a group of words, and the second is that it ends either on a full stop, a question mark, or an exclamation mark. So a group of words which ends either at a full stop, question mark, or an exclamation mark is a sentence. But we have to add that it must give us a complete sense. So the complete definition of a sentence is that it is a group of words which ends either at a full stop, a question mark, or an exclamation mark and gives a complete sense. Fine. For example, Sarah is looking good. Fine. Ali is enthusiastic to play. So both of these sentences, they are ending at full stop and they are giving us complete sense, and they consist of more than a word. So it is a group of words. The other thing is parts of a sentence. Parts of a sentence means that what does a sentence consist of. If we look from the perspective of the structure or elements of a sentence consists majorly of two parts. The first one is subject and the second one is predicate. What is a subject? The subject is the word, uh, either a thing, object, whatever, idea, whatever, which we are talking about. The thing, object, idea, the word we are talking about, that is subject. And the rest of the information, which is, so the thing, object, idea, concept, whatever, which is the focus of our talk, about whom, about which we are going to give a message, that is a subject. And the actual message, the actual information which is related to that subject which we are going to disseminate, that is predicate. So in the sentence, Ali runs a grocery store, Ali is the subject because we are going to give information about Ali. That is the actual focus of our talk, the actual focus of our message. And the information, the message about Ali, that he runs a grocery store, that is a predicate. So underlined Ali is the subject and underlined runs a grocery store is a predicate. Next, the subject can either be a simple subject or it can be a complete subject. The subject is simple if it consists of only a noun or a pronoun. If it doesn't consist of more than a single word, then it is a simple subject, just like Ali. Ali is just a single word denoting a subject, so it is a simple subject. But if we have more than one word for a subject, we call it complete subject. For example, the little girl. Here, girl is actually the noun, which is the denoting word for the subject. That is girl, and the little, these are the words which have been attached to girl. So this subject, the little girl, uh, obviously that is a complete subject. The little girl caught a butterfly. In this sentence, the little girl is a subject, and caught a butterfly is the predicate. And when we move on towards predicate, predicate further consists of uh, either one part or more than one parts. A predicate must have a verb. Obviously, without a verb, there is no predicate. But there are some other optional elements attached with a verb, and those can be either an object, a complement, or an adverbial, or there can also be an object, a complement, as well as an adverbial. So, what is a verb? Verb is a word which denotes or which shows some state, happening, or action. Verb. What is a verb? A verb is either a state, a happening, or an action. How? How? Let's see. Sarah is a software engineer. In this example, is the word is denotes a state of Sarah. That what who is Sarah? Sarah is actually a software engineer. It gives us it tells us something about the state of Sarah. What is she? She is a software engineer. So this word is actually a verb which is denoting the state of the girl Sarah. And the second example is Ahmed played hockey well. So Ahmed played hockey well. In this sentence, the word played is actually a verb which denotes some action. That Ahmed, what action did he play? The action was that he played hockey well. So played is a verb which is showing some action. And in the third sentence, Arisha fell sick. Arisha uh, is going to have some happening with her, that she got sick. So Arisha got sick, or Arisha fell sick. So fell is a verb and it is denoting some happening to Arisha. And likewise, if even if the sentence was Arisha got sick, so again it in the sentence Arisha got sick, got would be a verb denoting some happening. So verb, what is a verb? Verb is actually either a state, a happening, or some action. And if we analyze these sentences according to subject and predicate, in the first sentence, Sarah is the subject and is a software engineer, a predicate. Ahmed is the subject, played hockey well is a predicate. Arisha is the subject, fell sick is the predicate. Fine. The next element or the next part of a sentence is object. So, what is object? Object is actually a thing, a word, or something, anything which receives some action. If if this object, if this thing, or if this whatever it is, if it directly receives the action, it is the direct object, and if it is only affected by the action, then it is an indirect object. For example, the first sentence, my friend lent the money. So what did my friend do? He or she lent the money. So in this sentence, my friend is actually the subject, lent the money is the predicate, and in this predicate, the money is actually the object because it is receiving the action of lending. So as it is directly receiving the action of lending, so the lending has been done on the money. The money is being lent, so it is an object, and it is directly receiving the action, so it is an indirect object. Whenever we have got only one object in the sentence, that must be a direct object, because indirect object cannot stay without a direct object. The second sentence is my friend lent me the money. But if we have added only me in this in the sentence given above, so me, my friend lent me the money. So actually what is being lent? That is money. And to whom it is being lent? That is me. So I am just being affected by the action of lending. Lending is not being done upon me myself, rather it is I'm just being affected, that I'm receiving the money. So actually this is the indirect object, as it isn't directly receiving the action of lending. Fine. So the next example is she told me a story. A story is being told by she, so a story is the direct object and me is the indirect object. So we have discussed about the first two parts of the predicate, that is verb and the object. Now we are moving towards the third part of the predicate, that is complement. What is a complement? A complement is actually a qualifier which either qualifies a subject or it qualifies the object, because we have got two types of things in the same sentence. The first one, who is doing the action or who is having some state or happening, and the other one is the object of the sentence, which is actually receiving the action. Fine. So a word which qualifies either the subject of a sentence or the object of a sentence, that is called complement. We can have two types of complement. The first one is subject complement and the other one is object complement. If the complement qualifies the subject of a sentence, it is actually the subject complement or subjective complement. And if it just qualifies the object of the sentence, then it is called object complement or objective complement. You will understand the definition when we are going to move towards the sentences or examples. The first one is actually complement is either an adjective or a noun. Fine. Or it might be, we can say, the qualifier only. We can just define a complement that it qualifies. So an adjective or a noun which comes after a state verb and qualifies the subject of a sentence, it is called subject complement. And state verb, I told you earlier, is am, are, was, were, seems, like this. These are actually the state verbs. Fine. So Abdullah is intelligent. So is the state of Abdullah. Is actually the stative verb, the verb of state, and the word of state which is showing some state, that Abdullah is intelligent. And intelligent is the word that is adjective, and this adjective is qualifying Abdullah. This intelligence has been associated with Abdullah, so intelligent is actually the complement. And it is subject complement because it is qualifying the subject Abdullah. Fine. The next example is object complement, an adjective or a noun which qualifies the object of a sentence, that is called object complement or objective complement. Fine. The example is they called him a liar. So they called him a liar. They is actually subject, called him a liar is the predicate, and in this predicate, called is the verb, him is the object, because him is being called, him is receiving the action. And a liar, what is a liar? A liar is associated with him, that he was called the liar. And obviously this is qualifying the object of the sentence, so it we call it object complement. A liar word is actually an adjective, and this adjective is associated with the object, so it is objective complement. Fourth and the last part of a predicate is adverbial, or we may call it adjunct to. This is actually the part of the predicate which qualifies the verb, which qualifies the action, or whatever of the predicate. For example, the sun sets in the west. So the sun sets in the west. So this qualifies in the west. In the west is neither an object, it's nor a complement. It is rather an adverbial because it defines where the sun sets. It actually adds meaning to setting of the sun, that where does the sun set. Likewise, it may also an adverbial may also give answer to the questions how, where, why, like that. So the sun sets in the west. Here in the west is actually an adverbial. Likewise, he solved the sums quickly. So solving quickly is actually qualifying solved. It is actually qualifying the word solved. It is actually qualifying the verb, that is solving. So solving, how was the solving done? It was the sums were solved quickly. So quickly is actually an adverbial in this sentence. So this was all about the parts of a sentence according to the structure. And the first one, I told you that a sentence actually consists of majorly two parts. The first major part is subject, and the second major part is predicate. The first major part, that is subject, it actually might be simple subject or complete subject. If it consists only of a single verb, either a noun or a pronoun, it would be simple subject. And if it has some qualifiers or modifiers before the noun, that is the little girl, so it will be a complete subject. And the next one is predicate. The major second part of a sentence is predicate, which consists of verb, object, complement, and adverbial. A predicate must have a verb, but the other three things, they are optional. It can either have a complement, or it might have a uh, what should we say, object or an adverbial. So I have told you what is an object and what is a complement, what is an adverbial, and what is the verb. So all of these parts of a sentence must be on your fingertips, because they will also be used for the analysis of the sentences, in order to understand the inferential or the upcoming procedures of sentence analysis, that is active voice, passive voice, reported speech, clauses and phrases. So the next topic which we will discuss, that is about phrases and clauses. But until now you are supposed to just do with the concepts of parts of a sentence according to structure. And the assignment which I am going to assign you people is to go through the tenses. The book I have recommended to you people, that is Wren and Martin, High School English Grammar by Wren and Martin. And you are supposed to do or prepare sentences from the same book. And you are supposed to prepare your assignments about tenses. I hope that you have already uh, understood and done tenses in your previous classes, so it isn't so much needed to discuss in the form of lectures. Rather, it would be better if you prepare it by yourself. And you are supposed to prepare your assignment on tenses, and you are also supposed to share these assignments with me. I will tell you which medium is to be used to send your assignments to me. Fine. The next thing I would like to tell you people is, you are supposed to go at page number 157 of the book I have recommended. I have shared the book on your WhatsApp groups. And here we have got the book page I was talking about, that is page number 157 of High School English Grammar by Wren and Martin. And here you can see that analysis of simple sentences. You are supposed to read it from page 157 until page 1, it would be until page number 164. Rather, the top half of page number 165, before chapter 2, that is phrases. So before this chapter, chapter 2 phrases, you are supposed to do read it comprehensively. At page number 164, here you can see that they have given the analysis of sentences. And one more thing they have discussed, that is attribute. What is attribute? I told you a subject can either be of a single word, or it can have the other modifying words along with it. And they call these words attributes. So if we say the little girl caught a butterfly, so the little girl is the subject, complete subject. Girl is the subject word, and the little is actually attribute. So whatever words are qualifying the subject word, they are called attributes. So you can see in the first sentence, Abdul, quite pale with fright, rushed into the room. So Abdul is the subject word, and quite pale with fright, that is attribute. How was he feeling? He was pale with fright. So quite pale with fright is actually the attribute of this subject word Abdul. Rushed into the room is the predicate, and here rushed into the room, it doesn't, it has a verb that is rushed, but it doesn't have any object, it doesn't have a complement, it does have an adverbial qualification. Fine. In the second example, determination to do one's duty is laudable. So whatever part is given before verb, that is actually subject, and determination alone is not a subject, because determination of what thing? Determination of doing one's duty. So to do one's duty is modifying determination. Determination to do one's duty is complete subject. In this complete subject, determination is the subject word, and the words qualifying or modifying determination to do one's duty is attribute. Verb is, and laudable is complement. Why is it a complement? Because it is qualifying the subject determination to do one's duty. What is laudable? What is appreciable? Laudable means appreciable. What is appreciable? Appreciable is actually determination to do one's duty. And you can notice that this complement is coming right after the state verb. I told you that subject complements usually come right after the state verb. Fine. The third example is children, the farmers. So it means the farmers' children. The farmers' children actually is the complete subject, in which children is subject word, and the farmers, which is modifying this children, this is attribute. Sat is the verb. Around the fire, where they were seeing, around where they were sitting around the fire. So it is around the fire is actually telling the location of their sitting. So the around the fire is actually qualifying the verb, so it is a an adverbial qualification. The next example is they brought the warrior dead home. They brought, they is the subject word, and it is a simple subject because it doesn't have any attribute, it doesn't have any modifiers. They is the single word, and a single simple subject. Brought verb. The warrior, what do they brought? What did they bring? They brought the warrior dead home. The dead warrior, the warrior dead home. So where did the warrior is actually the object. What did they bring? They brought the warrior. And home, where did they bring that warrior? They brought it to home. So to home is the adverbial qualification. It is telling the location of bringing. Where did they bring that warrior? So this is adverbial qualification. And what did they bring? What did receive? The action of bringing, the action of bringing was received by the warrior. So it is a direct object. The next example number 5 says friends, his friends elected him secretary of the club. So friends is actually subject, which is qualified or modified by his. So his friends is actually the first word given in this sentence. His friends subject, elected him secretary of the club is the predicate, in out of which elected is the verb. Him, because he was elective, he received the action of election, the action of electing, so he is the, him is the object. And secretary of the club, what was he, I mean to say, what was he elected? He was elected actually as secretary of the club. So secretary of the club is qualifying the object him, so it is an object complement. So this is how you can read the rest of the examples, and you can also do exercises. You can attempt exercise number starting from page number 157. I would tell you that the exercise number 1, in exercise number 1 you are supposed to separate the subject and the predicates only, no more to do. And in exercise number 2 you are supposed to pick out the complete subject, the separate subject word from its attribute. In exercise number 2 you are supposed only to underline the complete subjects. In whichever whatever sentence you find the complete subject, just underline it and then try to identify from that complete subject. You are supposed to identify which one is the attribute and which one is the subject word. For example, in the first sentence, the boy anxious to learn worked hard. So the boy anxious to learn is the complete subject, and worked hard is the predicate. And the boy is actually the subject word, and the is the first attribute, anxious to learn is the second attribute. Fine. In exercise number 3, you are supposed to um, point out the adverbial qualification in each of the following sentences and say whether it is an adverb, an adverbial accusative. So you are not supposed to do this exercise. You are I would just ask you people to identify that. You must only be able to identify adverbial qualification, that is all. And so uh, do not try to attempt this exercise. Just move on to exercise number 4. And exercise number 4 says uh, fine, here you can do it, that is, pick out the complement in each of the following sentences and say whether it is a noun, an adjective, or pronoun. Obviously you can pick out the complement first, and then you can just judge whether it is a noun, whether it is an adjective, or it is a pronoun. It is quite simple for you. And the good thing is that you can have the examples along with these exercises. You can have the examples too. First they have given the examples of analysis, and then they have given you the exercise, so you can just read these examples. They will help you to attempt these exercises. Then we go towards the exercise number 5, and it says that in the following sentences, point out the complete object, then separate the object word from its attributes. Now, they want you people to analyze the complete subject. Just like there are complete subject, in the same way there is complete object. If object consists of only single word, it is simple object. If it consists of more than one word, obviously it is a complete object. And in the same way, you as you did with the complete subject, you can do with the complete object. You can do this exercise very easily. And exercise number 6 says in the following sentences, separate the predicate from the subject and then point out the different parts of the predicate. This is highly important exercise. You are supposed to do it. Exercise number 6 you are supposed to do. In this exercise, you are supposed to analyze the complete sentence. First of all, identify subject and predicate, and then try to point out the parts of the predicate in the same way given here on page number 164. Fine. So this is all about today's lecture. I hope you have understood each and everything. And the next thing, I told you about the assignment. The assignment is doing these exercises, and this is only for your own understanding. And what you are supposed to submit to me, that is the exercise, the assignment on verbs and tenses, the assignments on tenses. So you are supposed to understand and comprehend the rules of tenses yourself, and then let me know what to what extent you have been successful in doing so. Okay, thank you so much. See you in the next lecture. Okay, Allah Hafiz.